This event has created a lot of awareness. It's raised a lot of money, but it also has helped us make incredible friends, even across the seas. This is Mary Davis, the CEO of Special Olympics International, based in DC, but also makes her home in Dublin, Ireland. And that's where Mary joins us for this pre-tape. Mary, thank you so much for being here.
Hi, Debbie. Well, I wouldn't miss for the world just chatting to you and wishing you the very best of luck. I'm so sorry that I can't be there in person. That's the joy that I get from just being there, watching you. I don't know why I get joy from watching you, because it's quite painful actually watching you and what you've endured. And I'm usually seeing you towards the end. So having gone through what you've gone through, and the grit and the courage and, oh gosh, everything it takes for every ounce of your body to do what you do, it's just unbelievable. And as you say, the awareness that it raises, plus the enormous amount of funds as well that you've raised for Special Olympics, it's just incredible, and such a neat thing to do. I mean, 24-hour challenge. It's you're very, very special, and that you come back hungry and passionate to do more and to do it every year is quite amazing.
Well, that's how I know we're friends, Mary. See, because you can give me a hard time. Usually it's about 5 a.m. Eastern, and I am half alive, as you so eloquently described it, when I am closer to the end than I am towards the beginning. And we have been so blessed to have your passion, your leadership, your commitment above and beyond what would be a paycheck, obviously, because this is not a 9-to-5 job that you have taken on. This has incredible tentacles to it in so many different ways. What are you working on right now?
Well, first of all, you embody all of that. So when you say it's not a 9 to 5, all I have to do is look at you as a role model and think, yeah, I'll work any hour sitting here in my chair on Zoom to all over the world. I mean, that's an easy part, but getting out and doing what you do every year is just very, very special, I have to say. And I'm genuinely, and I've said this before to you, I am in awe of what you do and that you continue to do it. So what am I working on right now? Well, first of all, I have to tell you this, just in case I forget, because I am just back from Rochester, where I gave the commencement speech for St. John Fisher College, and that was really exciting. And and I also had the honor of receiving an honorary degree. And really, it's not about giving it to me, but it was just a representation of the millions of athletes all around the world who, for so long, as you know, have been marginalized and excluded. And not included in their community or in schools or in many other facets of their lives. But above all the odds, they persevered and continued. And we see what we see today through the power of sport and Special Olympics. So that was great. But the story I want to tell you is I met a friend of yours there, Tom Bowles.
Yes.
And Tom said, I said, that's bizarre because I'm actually speaking to Debbie next week. And he said, oh, you've just got to say that Tom says hello. So apparently you're great friends.
He's a good man. He lives in Asheville. I've met him on my many journeys up there. And as you know, I'm sure he told you, UNC Asheville is the anchor in our state of North Carolina for our event. So, expanding to 6 other states has been something that's been really a great compliment to the branding that we have others that want to get involved.
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. Well, he spoke very highly of you, and rightfully so too. So it was great to see him. But what are we working on now? Well, the USA Games are happening in just a couple of weeks' time. So starting on the 5th of June with the opening ceremony in Orlando, in the home of ESPN. And Disney, and they've been wonderful, wonderful hosts. We have a fantastic local organizing committee there with Joe Deluxe, who's the CEO and has worked incredibly hard with his team to mount a games that we'll be so proud of, and that will send such a strong message of inclusion and ability and talent and grit and energy. Again, all the things that you yourself embody. And it'll send that message right around the 50 states of the United States. So really looking forward to that. So I'm going to be traveling to Orlando from Dublin, and I'm there until the 12th, until the games close. So it's the first sort of big event that we will have in person since lockdown in March 2020. So you can imagine the excitement of all of the athletes who for the first time will be meeting their friends in person, probably meeting their coaches as well for many of them. So we're so excited about those games and truly looking forward to them.
Well, we're looking forward to it as well. The state of South Carolina is sending a nice delegation down, and some of those athletes will have been in my driveway during our 24 hours of nothing but net. We are celebrating them and celebrating some of their stories on the live stream, because we're really proud of the group that's trained so hard to get ready to be able to go down to Orlando and compete. There's a lot of fun parts about your job, Mary. What is probably, is this one of the fun things that you get to do, is actually attend the events, or is there something that is even an area that brings more joy to what
Well,
you
there's
do?
so many aspects that brings joy to what I do. I mean, yes, that is high on the agenda because it always allows me to meet the athletes, to watch them being the best that they can be in their competition. But to be honest, I love going to local programs. So like North Carolina, South Carolina, here in Ireland, when I'm home, I attend some of the events, and I just love that local feel and what's happening at local level, because that's where Special Olympics has the most impact. The majority of the athletes participate at local level. They'll never get to USA Games in some cases. And so it's really, really important that we provide the best opportunity, the best quality for them in their own community, in their own place where they train year round and have all their local events. So I'm very, very focused on the quality we deliver at those local events. And whenever I travel to any country, I really just want to go to local communities, see what's happening, see what the athletes are doing and the coaches. And in all cases, they just do such a great job.
One of the areas that I want to focus on with you is the area that we are thinking about now as a family, as Frankie has graduated from Clemson life. He will
Yes.
stay at Clemson. He does have 2 jobs. He is going to live with some of his roommates that he's lived with during his 5 years at Clemson as a college student. Is the employment aspect of what Special Olympics can bring and can help. Everybody knows about the athletes and the competition, but there's other areas that you have led in this population, trying to find jobs and trying to get employment and those next steps. What are some of the things that you're working on in that area?
Well, first of all, congratulations to Frankie and to all of you as a family. That is a major achievement. What an accomplishment, and congratulations to him. Yes, of course, we want people like Frankie to ensure that they have the same opportunities to working as anybody else, because that's where the real dignity comes for somebody that's in employment, if that's what they wish to do. So what we do is provide the skills and the training. I mean, obviously, Debbie, that through sport and through participation, the skills that you learn in terms of teamwork and learning to work with others, learning to experience success and failures, learning how to do things, and the courage and the grit and all of the other things that go with sport. All of these skills and tasks that every one of us need in the workplace. So the athletes are learning that through the power sport. And then through our leadership program. So we have a unified leadership program where we train athletes to be leaders, and they participate in our leadership academy, and they participate in many other training and courses. And then they have the opportunity to practice those skills that they've learned in leadership at some of our events, which is also a great preparation for the workplace. And then many of our partners and sponsors like Bank of America, like Coca-Cola, like United Airlines as well, do a wonderful job at placing and employing people with intellectual disability. Of course, we do also at our headquarters in SOI. We have about 11 people with intellectual disability working. And we are also encouraging all of our state programs and national programs to ensure that they have an athlete in the workplace. It's part of diversity and inclusion. It's the part of diversity and inclusion that oftentimes gets forgotten, people with intellectual disability. So we highlight that all the time and encourage employers to look at what they can gain and to look at the gifts of people with intellectual disability and the unique possibilities that they bring to their workplaces.
I 100% agree. I tell people all the time, people with intellectual disability are going to be on time. They're going to work weekends. They're going to work holidays, and they're never going to complain. Who wouldn't want an employee like that?
Absolutely, yeah. They work incredibly hard. I see it. There's a wonderful coffee shop that's just opened in DC, actually, but it's a chain. I don't know if you've heard about it, Debbie, called Bitty and Bow.
Yes.
And Bitty and Bow just hire people with intellectual disability and have them work. And to go to that coffee shop, and honestly, the queues are out the door these days because they've just opened. They have a chain of stores started by a family, including two people, Bitty and Bow, with intellectual disability. And it's just so great to see something like that thrive, and it's a great learning for the anybody that goes in to buy their cup of coffee. They can see firsthand the energy that the employees of Bitty and Bow are putting in to their work. Very diligent, and they deliver a fine cup of coffee.
I have been in those stores many times. There's a chain here in Charleston, and there's also other coffee shops that are popping up that have a similar branding, and it's wonderful. Actually, one of the jobs that Frankie will have at Clemson is at the Shepherd Hotel, and the Shepherd Hotel is a hotel that is going to employ 50 to 60% of the people of their employees will have intellectual or physical disability, and it's a new model that they are attempting. And they put it at Clemson because of the Clemson Life program. So it's a natural transition for those students once they graduate right into employment. So it's a unique perspective. It's a unique opportunity for Frankie. Our timing could not have been better. And we're very excited about what that could lead to.
Fantastic.
Okay. So Mary, you were friends with Eunice Kennedy Shriver. Tell us a story about her. Founder of Special Olympics. We all know
she was the founder of Special Olympics. What an incredible woman. I mean, if ever there was a strong, dedicated, powerful, full of faith and justice in every bone of her body, she exuded this sense of right and sense of justice for people with intellectual disability. And she honestly devoted her whole life, starting out in her backyard, running summer camps that she ran, and then starting Special Olympics as a result of that. And she traveled all over the world to the most remote areas and countries and programs to promote the organization and to get programs started. And indeed, that's where I met her. She came here to Ireland to start the program here in 1978. And she's the sort of person that, well, one, you didn't dare say no to. I mean, when she asked you to start a program or to get things organized or to coach a sport, you didn't say no in the first place, but you also uh, saw the intensity with which she felt about the talents and the gifts of people with intellectual disability. You just wanted to be there. You wanted to be in. She was great.
I think she's one of the most remarkable people in the history of our country and our world. That doesn't always get the recognition that she quite has already earned, I think. And she's one of my role models for sure. I idolize her ambition, like you so eloquently stated, but I also think you're one of my role models too, Mary, for the way you go about conducting your business and how much you care and how much you have made a difference in our world for families like mine. And I'm so grateful for that. And I'm fighting right alongside you. And I'm so glad that you're our leader. It means a lot.
You really are. You're fantastic. And listen, anything I've learned, I learned it either from Eunice Kennedy Shriver or her son Tim, of course, who's very involved and very, very passionate as well. But also I've learned it from the athletes themselves, because I started out my career as a teacher. I was a volunteer with Special Olympics, and you really get sucked in, and it's hard to describe to people what the transformation that happens inside you, but it's just something that you feel in your gut that you don't often get that feeling, but I experience it, and still, like that many years, I started when Eunice came over in 1978, and I'm still as passionate about the organization as I was then. So it's a wonderful organization, and when you reflect on why it is absolutely because of the athletes and their leadership and what they show us. I mean, they show us what it's like to overcome adversity. They show us what it's like to be the best that you can possibly be, not the best, but the best you can possibly be. And they live that out every day in every way, whether it's on the field of sport or off the field of sport. So they're an inspiration, they're role models, and I just follow their lead every time, and I never go wrong.
Well, you're a tremendous leader, Mary, and I can't thank you enough. Again, it's one of the great compliments I say when we can get our guests to come back and spend some time with us. Mary Davis, the CEO of Special Olympics International, thank you so much for giving us some of your very valuable time during this time of year.
Not at all. It's a pleasure, Debbie, and thank you. I'll be thinking of you on the day and night, the 24 hours, and I'll be willing you on all the way here from Ireland.